Well, America and the world is facing a crisis of unknown proportions, certainly the most serious health crisis in 100 years since the great flu pandemic. And the one question I think that everybody has foremost on their minds is, my God, what do the celebrities have to say about all of this? Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Whittle here with Steve Green and Scott Ott, and this is your right angle on the froth, which sits on top of the froth, which sits on top of the froth of a healthy society, namely our celebrity culture and efforts to pacify the population with their magnificence and their munificence. Guys, let's just start with this picture. Madonna, as you can see here, naked in a bathtub filled with milk, took the opportunity to reassure the world that that the COVID-19 pandemic doesn't make any distinctions based on fame or wealth or anything like that. And she took this picture in her multi-million-dollar mansion, surrounded by security, a long way from the nearest public face, and with a basement and a kitchen that we can assume is relatively well stocked. The reaction was not so positive, even among her fans. I'm going to do three and three on this. Scott, can you remember where you were when you heard the news that Madonna was saying that everything was going to be okay?
I was right here. I was the same place.
Just now? That's about all it deserves. What about you, Steve? Are you? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scott.
No.
Are you comforted? All right, Steve. You feeling better about
I'm right
the
now.
Great Equalizer?
Right now, I'm flashing on the two FBI agents in the helicopter in the last act of Die Hard, when the older guy, played by Robert Davi, is manning the machine gun, at the open door of the helicopter, says, "Hey, it's just like downtown Saigon, right?" And the younger agent Johnson said, kind of under his breath, "I was in junior high, you prick."
Which is where you were when Madonna was famous.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The second one is probably more famous or infamous. We're not going to subject you to the more than the first bar of audio of it or so. Here it is.
Imagine there's no heaven.
That's Gal Gadot, otherwise known as Wonder Woman, smiling beneficently as she comforts the world that celebrities are on the job, and all we have to do is imagine a world where there's no heaven and no borders, precisely the kind of thing you want to be talking about when a pandemic is sweeping the earth and scything down thousands. Guys, it's just really hard to look at this video. I find it hard to look at this video because of the raw vanity of it, just the shovelable quantities of crystallized vanity. Vanity is a trait that exists as kind of a concept, but here, vanity is actually it's actually crystallizing out of the air and falling to the ground in little shiny little droplets. The idea that a bunch of celebrities singing into the camera, imagine there's, the John Lennon Imagine song, this is going to comfort Americans, is beyond my imagination. These people, Steve, they do not realize how irrelevant they've become, do they? And they were becoming more and more irrelevant every day. But the one thing that this crisis is showing us is what's important and what's not. It's actually kind of sad. I feel sorry for them almost.
Yeah, almost. Gal, she broke my heart with this. One of my favorite things in the world about Gal Gadot was it's a GIF of her in the Wonder Woman costume. I think this is when they were filming the first one, just dancing, just goof off dancing in her Wonder Woman outfit. And she looked like the grown-up Amazon warrior version of a 9-year-old girl with her first Wonder Woman costume, who is just so joyous and shamelessly happy that she gets to wear a Wonder Woman costume, just like every 9-year-old girl that ever did this would be. And it was just such unfiltered, pure, innocent joy from this beautiful statuesque woman that it maybe should have seemed out of place. But for her, it was just so natural seeming that every guy and most every gal that I know of that saw that little clip just fell in love with her at least a little tiny bit there. And then this. So my advice to every celebrity who is not in any way qualified to speak about any of this stuff, stop helping.
Scott, this video also includes one line, from a number of different celebrities. Appearing on the video is the galvanized corpse of Will Ferrell. And also, a large section of it is dedicated to Sarah Silverman. And frankly, folks, I think the one thing we can all agree on is that when it comes to turning to somebody who's going to be kind, compassionate, understanding, and warm, you can't really top Sarah Silverman in terms of providing spiritual comfort for people who are deeply worried and afflicted. Got any opinions on this one?
She's adorable.
Seriously, I just got to say this again. Sarah Silverman is the best looking girl at the Star Trek convention. I've been saying it for years.
The problem with me is that I have no higher aspirations.
Oh, well.
Nor capabilities. So, when you were talking about this, the first thing I thought was, imagine no celebrities.
Yeah, me too.
It's easy if you try. I can't help but cynically think that there are some agents somewhere who are calling up their clients and saying, look, gal, this COVID thing is big. You got to get on top of this. You got to be out there.
Her agent is from 1934.
This is consuming every newscast 24/7. You can't let this pass you by. This is an opportunity
to show
shape
some
your
moxie,
career for
babe.
the next 5 years. Now that may not be the case. On the other hand, I do think that to a certain extent, people like Gal Gadot are that 9-year-old girl. I mean, it takes a certain childlike quality to have a career which consists of pretending you're somebody that you're not every day. And so to be able to dance around in your little costume, while I think that's delightful and amusing, if I acted like that on a daily basis, I wouldn't be able to hold down a job. And that's what Hollywood is for. It's for people who can't hold down a job. So, I don't get too lathered up about what celebrities do, and I will go and see every Wonder Woman movie that this woman cares to star in.
Yes.
So this will not affect. I don't care what she thinks politically. I don't care what any of these people do as their side hustle ideologically. I just care whether they can put a convincing character on the screen, and I will gladly hand over my money, unlike many conservatives who would, criticize me for this. They'll be like, we're going to boycott Hollywood. Yeah, really? Go ahead. It's not going to affect them at all. Just go to see movies for entertainment and don't listen to people who have opinions that are based on vapor.
And then finally, in this triage of terrible, we have a clip here that it turns out that neither Steve nor Scott has seen. So here's what we're going to do to show you the actual reactions of our staff in real time. We're going to play the clip for you, and then you are going to get to watch Steve and Scott reacting to the clip in real time. So
that's right.
Here's the clip here, and then here comes the reaction.
It's Corona time. Hey, it's Corona time right now.
And you're an idiot.
Oh,
Corona time. That's lovely.
What a sissy. I can't stop it now.
Make
it never
stop.
stops.
What a sissy, because she just licked the seat, not the rim. If she had any courage, she would lick the rim.
Needless to say, we're not going to mention the name of this person who's just a little attention whore and will do anything to get attention and has already gotten more mileage out of this than she deserves. But I do think that it's important to talk about this just as a result of the attitude that we've seen many people on spring break and so on. Young people saying, well, even if I get it, it won't hurt me. It's just a couple days with a cold and so on. The reason I'm picking this one is not just because this idiot did this disgusting thing. It's because she tried to make it into a challenge. She tried to make other people do it and video it as well. She tried to turn it into a social movement, in other words.
Are they going to donate money if they do it? Is this like the ice bucket challenge?
It's like the Tide Pod challenge. It's kind of like let's see if we can lower everybody's opinion of us even further. And sure enough, it's been successful in that regard. Steve, what do you say to people who basically are saying, well, it doesn't probably not going to hurt me. I don't care if it kills old people, because she essentially says this verbatim on her Twitter stream, which we're also not going to link to. Basically says, I don't care if old people die. Screw them. I want to get to the beach. What do you have to say about that?
I have a modest proposal. Anyone who hates old people shouldn't be allowed to become one.
I agree.
And probably won't if you go around licking toilet seats. Good night. Social media just makes us stupid. And I think that it might be particularly bad in the case of the millennial generation, who received this sort of participation trophy education and mentality, where things are basically consequence free and all attention is good attention. And here is an outlet, Twitter, here is another outlet, Instagram, here's another outlet, Facebook, and all the rest, in which you can get global attention if you're just stupid or outrageous enough from people who don't know where the lines are because of these almost consequence-free childhoods. And I don't know whether to point and laugh or cry or both, or just pray that this generation makes it out okay. What I do know is that and I'm not talking about anybody in particular here, but certain generations get certain reputations, like the silent generation, which sort of got lost. I don't think we had a silent generation president, did we? The greatest generation, of course, fought World War II and won it after surviving the Depression, and they gave birth to the baby boomers, who had much cushier lifestyles and tended to be much more self-involved. As a result, Gen Xers basically got ignored during our childhood, so we tend to suffer from a little bit of ennui, to say the least. And now you have the millennials, who seem to be echoing the boomers in a way, and they just don't. It just doesn't seem to be clicking for them yet. And maybe it takes a pandemic, Bill.
Maybe it does. What do you have to say, Scotty?
I'm just thinking, like 10 years from now, that woman is going to be doing a series of interviews to promote her book about how people discriminated against her so badly that it crippled any hope that she ever had for a career because of that video, and how unfair the world is. It's hard to care about people like this.
I agree.
Let me just say this. This is not that generation. This is a freak. This is somebody who's an attention whore, who just wants to have people look at her. And frankly, I would not have looked at her, Bill Whittle, you rotten bastard, because I would never have clicked on that link if it were not for the contractual obligation I have to you to make this show.
We have a handshake.
So... Yeah, we had a handshake until the lawyer had to document it.
I'm not touching that again.
That's right. Don't touch my... Oh, by the way, let me just counter it with this. Did you see Neil Diamond's video? Neil Diamond did a little video sitting in front of his fireplace at his house with his guitar, and he played and sang Sweet Caroline, but he changed the words, and he's playing this guitar, and he's gone, hands, washing hands, reaching out, don't touch me, I won't touch you.
See, that's cute.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, that I can take.
It's an effort for me. I really do make a major effort to do this. And when we're dealing with people like Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama and all the rest of these people I have profound disagreements with, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, we always find a way to manage to wring ourselves back and say, despite the fact that I deeply disagree with them, I wish no personal harm to come to them. It's politics. This whole thing about I hope you die of cancer. It's like, I've never been that guy, and neither have Steve or Scott. This one has taxed that philosophy to a large degree. I think the only thing I want to say about this is you're inciting people to a behavior that you know is going to kill people. That you know is going to kill people. It's not going to be you because you think you're young and all the rest of it, but it's not going to affect you. So you're inciting people to a behavior that you know is going to cause other real people to die. And I find that to be extremely abhorrent and repellent. And that is why I've come to the following conclusion. I used to think that the worst thing that could happen to Hillary Clinton would be that she would go to jail for her many felonies. And then over time, I've realized, no, the worst thing that could happen to Hillary Clinton is what happened to Hillary Clinton. Is that she would not get the martyr status. She would not get the woman on the cross and have people rally around her. She's just the person who botched an election, who nobody likes and nobody has ever liked, and who blew the chance of a lifetime. And that is the worst punishment for that woman that could possibly exist. And I'm just saying this in case she's watching. Here's what you're going to get as a result of this. This brief period of 24 to 48 hours is going to be the high point of your life. It's going to be the high point of your life. This negative attention that you're getting for maybe 24 or 48 hours, that's it. That's as far as it's going to go. You're going to have to go through middle age and presumably old age, looking back and realizing that your life has done nothing but get worse from that point on. And that is a special kind of hell, because some of us in our 50s and 60s feel like we haven't even got started yet. We have big things left to do. We do big things on a daily basis, but your life is just going to get more and more and more obscure after this moment of selfishness, and a filthiness of soul, the likes of which I have not seen in quite a long time. And as far as talent goes, I think you have to go back to Vanilla Ice to put somebody else in that category. So in any event, there it is. Folks, the reason I brought all this up is simply to make a point that needs to be made, and that's this. When we don't have important things to deal with, we talk about celebrities, and celebrities like being talked about. That's why they're celebrities. And we care about what they have to say because there's nothing else to care about, honestly. But once you get into real trouble, everybody realizes that the last people we need to hear from are these people who pretend to be things for a living. Gal Gadot is not Wonder Woman. She's just an actress. And all the rest of these people pretend and make believe. We don't need their reassurance. We don't need their condescension. We don't need millionaires, multimillionaires sitting in milk baths telling us how everything's going to be okay, that we're all going to die equally from her $100 million mansion in Switzerland or wherever the hell it is. We don't need it. We're over it. We're over you. We're over celebrity. We're over the whole thing. It's all about user-generated content now. You're done. We don't care. Just be quiet and just be quiet and just slowly sort of drift down that river into increasing irrelevance and eventual kind of anonymity and stop doing more damage with your desire to show what unbelievably swell people you all are. It just doesn't matter anymore. And it gets more obvious every day. For Steve Green and Scott Out, I'm Bill Whittle. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you next week on Right Angle.